Hi everybody on YouTube, this is Variantis Tech, and today we're gonna be comparing the Samsung Galaxy Core Prime to the LG K7. Maybe those two phones actually the most selling phone through Metro PCS. People on a prepaid, they're always looking for budget devices. They're not wanting to spend too much money because they're actually, if they want to buy a high-end up phone, they have to pay the full price. So those two phones are actually the most selling phones, and people in between, especially that Metro is running the deals that you can actually port in and get phone for free, and those two phones actually you can get them for free. So people may be confused which one I should get. So this video is gonna be for you. Let's gonna find out. Let's gonna go over the design of the phones. I always like to say that the LG K7, it's a beautiful phone. So once you see that phone, you're gonna tell how the LG added quality to it. As a curved screen, which is no function for that curved screen, it's just curved screen. And you have the same language design for any LG phone. They have the volume records, a flash camera, everything's located on the back, speakers on the bottom. And technically you don't have anything on the side. The phone looks beautiful, 5-inch display, no LED notification lights, front facing camera, just 5 megapixel the speaker, and regular Android over here. And in the other side also, no surprise that the Samsung always they have the same language design. They may have different actually looks for the phones, and maybe they got something in the middle, they got something in glass, stuff like that. But for the budget phones, you guys can expect to have plastic, but the design of the phone is actually very identical to any Samsung phones. You got proximity sensor, 2 megapixel front facing camera, you have no LED flash unfortunately, and you have the physical clickable home button right here and capacitive buttons, while you have the virtual buttons over here, and the camera, the speakers all located right there. So they're actually both very acceptable design. Beautiful white phone over here. You may like Samsung, you may like LG. As far as the display performance, I'm very upset with the LG K7 actually. It's still very looking device. I mean the display technically it's bright, nice, and the colors and vividness is not that bad, but the pixels actually is very big in this device. The problem is you have 5-inch display and you have only 480 x 800 or 854 resolution, which is not quite enough for a 5-inch display. So you have low resolution and low PPI at the same time. You have only 196 of PPI and IPS panel, which is good. While you have that TFT display over here, I mean it is still 4.5, which is smaller, and you have the same resolution. You have 480 x 800 and a PPI even more for a smaller screen, so the pixels actually much smaller with this phone. I mean, if you just see these phones, you know, and you're gonna tell that the display in the K7 is not that high quality, and this is actually the only things I don't like. Other than that, big size screen, which is good, I mean, but the quality of the screen is not that good. As a battery performance, not that big deal, because you get the LG K7 with 2045 milliamp hour and 2000 milliamp hour, and it's removable in both phones. You can pop the back and remove the battery, replace it, change it if something happened, or if the phone froze or anything like that. And you guys not going to be expecting too much screen on time, from 3 to 4, so it depends on the brightness of the display. But overall, the LG K7, it's going to consume a little bit more of that because you got 5-inch display. Other than that, I don't see any big difference in the battery performance in either phone. It is actually low battery, but this phone is not high end up, so you don't have high processor or you don't have high resolution, so whatever the amount of the battery is gonna be fair enough for that price you guys gonna pay for these phones. When you buy these phones, you guys can expect to have the Lollipop 5.1 out of the box in these phones. And Marshmallow updates, I'm not sure if there is any updates coming up for those phones, but in my opinion I don't think so. The UI, so you get the LG UI over here, which is I like it. It has a lot of bunch of customization, and they have actually a lot of widgets, and they actually have knock on screen. They have some toggles here where actually you have some shortcuts, and maybe everybody familiar with the actually LG UI. Samsung, they're still using the light Samsung TouchWiz. It doesn't have everything the other phones does, which is actually they get TouchWiz. You have some actually features added to this phone. There is no NFC in both phones. You get screen mirroring, which is you don't have this in K7. If you have smart TV or something, go ahead and connect your phone to the TV, which is a great option to have, and you don't have knock on screen or anything like that. There is no FM radio in both phones, so they're technically about the stock Android and stock application that is pre-installed in the phone. Other than that, I don't see any big difference. To be honest with you, I didn't notice any lagsness or, you know what I mean, delay on the phones. Unless if you guys just push these phones to the limit. So when you get that memory or the internal memory full with a lot of applications, especially crap applications, you guys can expect that the phone's gonna start slow down. So be careful with these phones, because you don't have too much RAM and you don't have actually a high processor to manage a lot of stuff at the same time. Internal hardware performance for both phones, as you guys can see, the benchmark test we have done. So you have a higher score for the Core Prime and lower score for the K7, as you guys can see. Why? Because the Core Prime running the different actually chipset in the phone, which is you have Snapdragon 410 with 1.2 quad core processor and 1 GB of RAM. Internal memory is going to be 8 GB. After everything pre-installed, you're going to expect to have 4 GB for your applications. And at the same time here you have Snapdragon 210 1.1 quad core processor and 1.5 GB of RAM and 8 GB of internal storage, which is very identical, but you got different chipset here. It gives more better performance, especially for people they want to play games on the phone. They're gonna expect the Core Prime with a better performance, because you get GPU Adreno a 306 while you have a 304 for the GPU. So managing the graphics will be a little slightly better with the Core Prime. Other than that, it's not gonna be that big difference over here, because the internal storage is about the same and the processor is about the same speed, but actually kind of a little bit more better performance. As you guys see, the score will tell you the story here. Both camera actually is just acceptable. It's not the best you can get, or but it's actually overall very acceptable camera. You have 5 megapixel front facing camera and back camera for the LG K7. The front facing camera in the K7 is very acceptable. It has some issues with the low light, which is any budget device has some issues, but overall, I mean, you're gonna be able to take a very nice selfie. And actually, if you just ask me about manual mode or stuff like that, you don't have too much options. You have only option to change the resolution or add the voice, or to record video, or just to take the or to take a pictures. While you have the Galaxy Core Prime, as options you have more. You have sound shots, port, beauty face, and you have Panorama Pro, which is the manual mode. You have 2 megapixel and the back. And the only problem with these phones actually the video. Either way, for the front or the back, it's only 720p, so you don't have even full HD video recording, which is you get a less resolution. In case if you want to take a video or review it in your TV and you have a bigger TV or like a full HD TV or stuff like that, you're not going to be able to see high resolution. So this or those two phones actually not good for video recording, anything like that. For daily pictures, for like Snapchat, Facebook, stuff like that, that will be very fine, acceptable if you don't need too much, because those phones are on the budget right now. So you guys are not gonna expect too much money, so you also at the same time you're not gonna expect to get high-end camera performance, but overall they're very acceptable cameras as performance. If you guys want to see more about the camera samples and review, you can check either full review for on my channel for these two phones to get more details about the camera. So there is no big difference in the price as I mentioned before, so those phones go with the same price or the same deal that you can actually port and get this phone for free. And that was very much it for that video. If you have more questions, leave this one in the comment below. I will take care of that when I have the time. And also don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more contents like that, and at the same time you can leave the thumbs up. It does help the channel a lot. Thank you so much for watching. As always guys, I'll catch you in my next one.